Hello and welcome to Dynamic DCUO. Volmy here. Let's talk about munitions DPS. Now if you're looking for the most OP loadout, that's not our brag, ever. The loadouts that I use work for me in most situations that I'm in. I use this in open world, solo, duo, and open world boss fight simulations situations. I'll adjust accordingly for alerts and raids. This would probably work fine for an alert. Power interactions are your bread and butter for pretty much any kind of power-based loadout. So with munitions, burning is our thing. We want to initiate burning, and then we want to capitalize on it. I start with the shrapnel grenade launcher, is the supercharged debuffer. It will hit the nearby enemies as well as doing knockdown, so it's a great way to start. I'll follow that up with chain gun, which also does some stunning and pushback. Then rail guns, and then I have an explosion right there, handy for anything that gets right on top of me. At number 5, I have the mini nuke loaded, but that's where I also put my supercharge. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have the supercharge on my armory, and then I'll swap it out to put the mini nuke in until my supercharge is ready to go. The mini nuke I like because it's a pretty heavy hitter. Will affect the burning. It does kind of take up a lot of space on your screen, but when I'm switching it out for the supercharge, I go with either the mounted turret, which is your 50% supercharge, or the big gun, which is your 100% supercharge. I tend to go with the mounted turret because I like to be able to get it off more frequently when I'm doing so. And then at number 6, I'll put in survival, is a shield. Now and then you get into a situation where you need a shield. Alright, so if I'm going to run with an open world boss fight or something along those lines where I'm not going to be needing the immediacy of explosion because things aren't going to be right in my face, I'll be more in a ranged mode, then I'll go with this load and still go with my grenade launcher, chain gun, and rail guns, and then I'll use the mini nuke for the big hitter and have the mounted turret up there so I can cycle that through as it comes up, because that's a longer lasting fight and you'll get those off. So that's just using still the same basic loadout, just changing things up just a little bit. Alright, so in action, this loadout's going to look something like this. We'll start out with the grenade launcher, hit the chain guns, throw in rail guns, top it off with a mini nuke if we're ranged, and if we're up close, I would deal with the explosions. All those do wonderful little things, and the beautiful thing with munitions is you can move around while you shoot. Of course, you can't see if you're using the mini nuke, but the idea is that you can move and shoot, and that is a wonderful benefit. Alright, now the boss fight loadout is going to look like this. Still have everything looking pretty much the same. The only thing is I've moved mini nuke down into number 4 where I had the explosions, and at number 5 I've got the mounted turret. So in action, that's going to look a little like this. Little mini nuke to soften them up, and the mounted turret, which recharges as it goes. So it's a fun loadout to do. I like munitions probably almost as much as I like ice, so that's saying a whole lot. Now for Tac Mods, what I like to do is I've got some basic things with weapons. I always go with replenishing adapter to help get some power back. Fortified assault on the neck helps if you're not blocking, and I have a bad tendency to never block, or very rarely block. Chest, usually go with power efficiencies to get the power save. Feet is going to be explosive block, because I don't think there's a lot of exciting things going on in feet. With hands, I'll usually go with regenerative shielding on munitions, because I don't have an interruption problem very often with munitions. But a lot of your powers and munitions are interruptible, and if you're running into that, then I suggest empowered channeling. It covers pretty much all of the things that you need in munitions that get interrupted. Chain gun, 5-barrel minigun, particle gun, rail guns, rocket launcher, small package, all those things can get interrupted, and empowered channeling takes care of that. For legs, I go with the restorative chain gun, It also offers a restorative particle gun, which you may want to go with if you're using particle gun. There's a restorative laser net launcher, but I've never used the net launcher, never really cared a lot for it. It inflicts burning, but isn't the supercharged generator. For back, I go with the accelerated mini nuke, since I like to use the mini nuke, but also recommended would be the accelerated mounted turret. So if you're using your supercharge as a constant in your loadout, then that's definitely recommended. Accelerated survival, I don't use the shield non-stop, so I don't think that accelerated survival really works for me. Also, a back option is accelerated killer instincts, which is a yellow headband, which prior to the stat revamp was vital, but now I don't think is as big of an issue. And for the head mod, I go with the supercharged mounted turret, because if I can get that turret off, I will be happy to use it. Now, Tac Mods are great, but you want to also keep in mind your augments and your base mods and artifacts and all those kinds of things. And I'm going to let Win talk about that stuff, because he's the expert on those and I am horrible at maintenance. I hope you've enjoyed this little demo, and if you have, please hit like and subscribe. And as always, happy gaming.